Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Kenzie's Krimes.
Milwaukee police found body parts in a North Side apartment.
Not because I was angry with them, not because I hated them, but because I wanted to keep them with me.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
This is evil, what those people have done to me.
C says Heaven's Gate away team.
I'm not guilty.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and time for another edition of Kenzie's Krimes, a deep dive into a local murder mystery drama. And Kenzie takes us around the campfire and tells us a story, so go for that, Kenzie.
Yeah, Liese Dodd was born in Alton, Madison County in 1999. She had grown up there, and it, really felt like her home. She was bright and enthusiastic. She had a huge heart for animals. On her 10th birthday, actually, instead of receiving presents, she organized a fundraiser for the Riverbend Humane Society, a local no-kill animal shelter for cats and dogs.
Oh.
I know, such a sweetie pie. She graduated from high school in 2017, and she started working at Dairy Queen, saving up money so she could go to school and get into the medical field like her mother had. In June 2022, she was 22 years old, and she was currently 8 months pregnant with her baby girl.
Wow.
She was in an on and off again relationship with her boyfriend, DeAndre Holloway. He was also from Alton, Illinois, and was the same age as Liese. DeAndre had a difficult home life and used substances because of that. DeAndre often had to bounce around from home to home, finding friends to live with and other loved ones because he wasn't provided a stable environment. At one point, this happened to both him and Liese. They lived in a tent at the campground at the lake. At the time, Liese had admitted she was also being abused by her boyfriend.
Oh, boy.
In 2022, they had moved into a new apartment building in Alton. Despite the living situation, obviously improving drastically, her boss at Dairy Queen said she called off a lot. DeAndre, the boyfriend who had been abusive, had started opening up about his mental state and how horrible it truly was. He actually spoke with a friend via text on a phone, saying that, basically everything was overflowing. He's like, I've had to be a man my whole life, even in my household when I was a child. Everything's too much. Everything's coming out all at once, and I don't know how to control my emotions. DeAndre takes off when he's upset and often goes missing. And Liese doesn't know how to get a hold of him because he'll leave his phone behind when he does this a lot because he doesn't want to be reached. So he does that a lot. Liese comes home from work on a Tuesday in June and saw that he wasn't there. She texted her mom around 9 p.m. that she was very stressed. The mom was kind of hoping he truly did leave because she's been worried about her daughter and her soon-to-be granddaughter's safety. The next morning, DeAndre still hadn't come home, and she started reaching out to his family. That evening, DeAndre's uncle texted Liese and said that he was with DeAndre and he'd be able to come back soon and everything was fine. Liese told her mom, who wasn't happy, that she was going to pick DeAndre up from the uncle's house. She texted her mom while sitting in the car and said, I'm just trying to figure it all out. And it was the last text that she'd ever sent. I'm going to pause right there. This is one of the most insane and tragic stories.
Well, we'll come back and get the conclusion of Kenzie's Krimes in 3 minutes with Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 with the conclusion of Kenzie's Krimes. And Kenzie usually sets up in the second part here of a little bit what's going on so far.
Liese is from Alton, and she's 22 years old. She's 8 months pregnant, and she's going to be having a child with her boyfriend, DeAndre. DeAndre has been known to be an abusive boyfriend. He is the same age as her, also from Alton, and had a very troubled childhood. When he does get really upset and kind of has an episode, he usually runs off and goes missing. So he was missing for about a day. Liese finds him and she texts her mom, I'm just trying to figure it all out, because her mother was upset that she was going to get him. She didn't want him around her daughter. So on June 9th, 11:57, so just before June 10th by 3 minutes, DeAndre is seen on the apartment security footage walking outside holding a white laundry basket. He puts a face covering on and dark shoes. He can be seen on the security footage walking behind a nearby smoke shop, which has a huge dumpster behind it. Security footage shows the white laundry basket being thrown into the dumpster along with some clothing. 2 hours later, her car is missing from the parking lot via the security footage that sits outside of the apartment building. Then the car is gone. DeAndre drove to his mother's house. He showed up at 2:30 in the morning banging on the door. He was let in by a family member. His half-sister said he seemed shaky in the morning and he was cutting all of his hair off. He had longer dreads that he had loved. She asked why he was doing it, and he said it was for a fresh start. Heidi Dodd, Lisa's mother, decides to visit her daughter, Lisa's apartment. Her mother hadn't heard from her since that night before. It was nearing 15 hours, and something felt off. And she decided to let herself into her daughter's apartment. She knew where the key was. Minute later, Heidi comes running out of her daughter's apartment, visibly shaken up, and she calls 911.
911, what's the address of the...
Yeah. Hi. Listen.
What's going on?
My girlfriend's daughter is killed. Yeah.
What's going on there?
My girlfriend, I'm sorry, my daughter's, she chopped her head off.
Police rushed to the scene after this phone call to find the mother, Heidi, crying on her daughter's front steps. They run into the home, find apartment 4 on the second floor, and enter. They discover Lisa's body in her bedroom. Her head had been enwrapped in a towel, or at least that's what they thought they saw. They moved the towel and realized her head was gone.
What?
All that was left was Lisa's body. Her head and the murder weapon were both not in the apartment.
Oh my God.
DeAndre had cut his hair, left Lisa's car and a handwritten for sale sign in the window when visiting his mother's home, and left Lisa's ID and debit card with his grandma. He handed them to her and said that he needed to get them back to Lisa. So this poor older woman, by the way, because they interviewed her, was like, I've never met her, but I gotta try to find her she needs these. What if she needs to drive? Like, she was innocently giving these cops saying, I need to find Lisa so she can have these. Officers interviewed DeAndre's mother, who actually had an order of protection against him, his own mother.
Are you afraid of him?
Yeah, I got an order of protection on him.
Okay. Yeah. And what prompted you to get that?
He was staying with me for a couple days, and he was becoming frightening, like he was going to do something. So I was like, you gotta go.
Then officers also interview neighbors in the apartment building.
What about that sound makes you think chopping wood?
It was more of how steady it was.
Okay.
Because when you chop wood, you gotta lift it up, you gotta hold it, and then you gotta put all your weight into it, and all your muscle.
Yeah.
And when you do it, you go.
And you kind of got a rhythm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it had like 4 or 5, 6 of those beats, and then it just stopped. The screaming stopped, the sound stopped, the shaking stopped, everything stopped.
What the neighbor heard was the sound of Lisa's head being chopped off.
Oh.
At 1:45 a.m. June 10th, a different police station recognized DeAndre and took him into custody and called the local authorities who were in charge of the case. Midday, June 10th, they sat down to interview him, and he refused to talk. June 13th, he is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, dismembering a human body, offenses relating to motor vehicles, and concealment of a homicidal death. DeAndre nonstop threatened officers, even saying, I will cut your head off, as he refused to attend his virtual trial, and they had to forcibly make him attend. He was deemed unfit to withstand trial. In January 2024, he entered a guilty plea and was sentenced to 60 years in prison. He must serve 52 years before he's eligible for parole. There is a GoFundMe set up in Lisa Dodd's honor, and all the proceeds go towards their local domestic violence resource. The family spoke so eloquently after this case. My heart goes out to her mother, Heidi, and she's doing an amazing thing by really, really preaching to be there for, women and anybody, obviously, in domestic violence situations, knowing that there's people who love you and you can get out safe and you do not have to stay.
Kenzie's Krimes.
Milwaukee police found body parts in a North Side apartment.
Not because I was angry with them, not because I hated them, but because I wanted to keep them with me.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
This is evil, what those people have done to me.
She says Heaven's Gate away team.
I'm not guilty. Q101.
Well, if you missed any part of Kenzie's Krimes, it's all on the podcast all the way through the entire show. Everything we do, every second, is on the Brian and Kenzie podcast, so you can go back and listen to that whenever you like. Moving forward, We have 3 Days Grace tickets on the way for the Allstate Arena. We announced that show yesterday. And also the 20-year anniversary of something that brought so much joy. I'm gonna say to 97% of our audience. It's a 20-year anniversary, so much joy, and also took up a lot of our time. We'll talk about that coming up in music entertainment news with those 3 Days Grace tickets.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning, and Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.